Mac here with you on Birds 365. Today could end up being a very bittersweet day. John saw the notification while we were talking to Jeff Kerr that Jason Kelce took to Twitter to say, no keg videos this year, scheduling a press gathering today, details to follow. Hey, I hope that listen, I don't need a keg. I don't want a keg. I'm adding another year to the calendar, and I don't know that the keg would be good for my prep for the upcoming football season. It could happen that way. Chances are that's not going to be the case, that Jason Kelce is officially going to retire today, that his brother Travis is in town. Don't know if they'll do a live New Heights podcast or what, but there's a good chance that Jason Kelce is going to announce his retirement today, and that's unfortunate. He will forever be remembered as one of the greatest Eagles of all time. It's not going to change the legacy of Jason Kelce that he's walking away at this stage. At least it doesn't for me, may for some others. Most immediate reaction needs to be, what kind of effect does this have on the Eagles for the 2024 season coming up? Jason Kelce was still Pro Bowl, all-pro level player this year. We always talk about add another agent account. When does the drop-off come? When do you start to see reduction? What the hell happened to James Bradbury? Because he got 365 days older. All of a sudden, he got incompetent. Stuff happens. Well, other than that final game against Tampa, and I don't think that was the reason why. I don't think Jason Kelce got old the last week of the season against the Bucs. He's still a top-level center compared to all other center levels in the NFL. And it's just another hole the Eagles have to fill, John. That's not good.
No, it's never. When you have to replace a player like that, it's always going to be difficult. And, we all, what are the odds? We're talking about a future Hall of Fame center. And breaking news all over the place. Mike Evans re-signing with the Buccaneers. Didn't see that coming. So
he did resign.
He is going to resign, with the Bucs. But with Jason Kelce, I mean the likelihood you follow up a Hall of Fame player with another Hall of Fame player, the odds aren't good.
Unless you're the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, unless you're the Green Bay
Packers.
Packers.
That doesn't happen anywhere else other than in Green Bay at kind of key position.
Yeah. It's very difficult, and the odds are against you, and that's why, it's always difficult for the player that replaces a legend. The old adage: you don't want to be the guy who replaces the legend; you want to be the guy who replaces the guy who replaces the legend,
right?
Because you don't want to have that pressure. That'll be Cam Jurgens' pressure, and is he going to be Jason Kelce? No, but that doesn't mean he can't be a really solid player. And I talked about it, whether Jason returns or not. I expect the Eagles to have a top 10 offensive line in this league, because they're still going to have Landon Dickerson and Jordan Milada and Lane Johnson. And they'll figure out the rest. That's better than most teams. So you have to look at it from that standpoint. But anytime you lose a player like that, it's difficult. And, but they've been ready for this, and they I don't know how many heir apparents are we through now.
Right.
Landon Dickerson was drafted to be his heir apparent. Isaac Seumalo was drafted to be
Isaac first into Landon, into Jurgens. So not only have they been ready for it, they've been overly prepared for it, as a matter of fact, but it hadn't happened. Now it's actually happened. If it happens again, we might be putting the cart before the horse here. It's good on the Eagles that they have been prepared and ready, and that's just good organizational strength. You don't get a hit out of left field and not be ready to move when something like this happens. But when it does happen, I'm sorry, it hurts, and it's going to be difficult. Howie Roseman's got work to do. We said it as soon as they lost to the Bucs. Okay, now it's Howie season. Howie, you need to improve this roster. This team's got to get better. When Jason Kelce walks away, it's just something more you have to do during this offseason. You only got so much. You only got so many draft picks, which we still don't even know. When does that come down? Does that come down this week? The official allocation of compensatory draft picks?
Yeah, I believe it was March. I'll look it up. I think it was March 10th last year. So yeah, it might
Coincide
happen
with
this
the
week.
beginning of the NFL year?
Yeah,
Do they
it
do
might,
it
and
before, during?
a little bit before um, last year. So typically they stick to the same schedule. Um,
I
so
don't even know that. There's people that are speculating when it could be. Some have even gone so far as to say exactly what pick it's going to be. If they get it right, I'll give them all the credit in the world because I still don't understand how you figure out what kind of draft picks, compensatory draft pick to get. Eagles have 8 picks this year. They got more than 8.
March 9th was when they did it last year. March 9th.
Okay.
So it's coming up soon, most likely.
And we'll find out exactly where those draft picks are. But they only have 8 draft picks. Not like they got 12 draft picks to fill in all these holes that the Eagles now have. And the Jason Kelce hole was one that we knew could very well be the case, hoping that it wasn't the case. I did a 180 on this after the final game of the year when everyone was just writing Jason Kelce off. I said, can we at least wait? Can we give him a minute to breathe? Already bro hugged his teammates because he knew it was at least a possibility. Let's see what when he did that Chris Long podcast, and Chris was asking him questions about the team, and he kept saying the Eagles, the Eagles, the Eagles, the Eagles, the Eagles, rather than we. In previous years during the offseason, when Jason was sitting on the fence, I'm pretty sure I remember him saying we. He didn't say we. He said the Eagles. And to me, that was kind of a tip off. He's really thinking about walking away this year, and we'll find out later on this afternoon. I know it's the off season, but if I'm Jason Kelce's teammate and I'm living here in the Philadelphia area, I make sure I get my rear end down there to the NovaCare complex today at 1:00. You got to salute this guy if he's going out the door for the last time. I know Eagles spread across the country. It's the off season. You get out of Dodge, you go back to where you come from. But there are a whole bunch of Eagles that have made the Delaware Valley their home. What kind of turnout do you expect today for Kelce?
I don't know. We're going to see how it's set up. Obviously, just because it's last minute to us doesn't mean it's last minute to them.
That's true.
And I thought for a while the Eagles probably knew what was going to happen. Adam Schefter's reports. He didn't report that because players weren't saying it. The players thought that Jason was going to retire. And again, as I've said about 100 times during the show, everybody can change their mind. He's changed his mind in the past. So you can hold out hope, but it was pretty clear. And go back to Jordan Milada. You talk about Jordan's like, there's no way he's coming back, and because he knew basically. It's been a while. They probably known a while. So we'll see how it shakes out. But I do think that obviously Travis being in town is not coincidental. I was doing some other stuff, but it was not coincidental. So he'll certainly be there. I expect certain guys, as you mentioned, to live around the area will probably be there. But we'll see. We'll see. When Jalen Hurts' contract came down, his agent was there and there were a couple guys in the back, and a lot of times they don't want to, make themselves known. So it's more of just doing it behind the scenes than sitting in the auditorium with us goofballs in the media.
Yeah, but did you not agree a retirement is different than a contract signing?
Well, sure. Yeah. I just meant that's the last sort of major
okay.
press
Last
conference.
time you had
Yeah.
someone that would even potentially include a teammate. Yeah, you're right. But this one, just me. I'm giving my personal opinion. If have been Jason Kelce's teammate, whether it's a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, I'm going to get my rear end down to the complex today because I want to make sure Jason Kelce knows how much he's going to be missed individually for each of his teammates and more collectively for the entire city of Philadelphia, above and beyond the Eagles organization. All right, let's take a quickie timeout. Rob Motti scheduled to join us, lead NFL national writer for the Associated Press. Philly guy. He covered Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelce for a lot of years here in Philly before he became the national guy from Associated Press and took his act down to Florida. Yeah, Mighty Man was here in Philadelphia for many a year covering the Birds and Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox. Looking forward to talking to Rob Mighty next here on Birds 365.